Oh man, yeah. I feel like so fasting has been an interesting journey for me. It started out being like one of those spiritual disciplines I was kind of fearful of. Like honestly, I tend to be more on the gluttonous side of things, like I'm more of a foodie. Like I really do enjoy food a lot. And I don't know, it felt scary to also being an athlete, like we're kind of trained in fueling your body for success and like taking in the right things so that you're gonna have the right energy output and stuff. So I'd seen my parents fast and heard about it in like church and from other people, but I was more nervous to like do it. And I can feel like almost sometimes the fear of fasting can be worse than actually doing it yourself. But that's one thing I learned as well. Like fasting actually is good for us. Like there's certain ways that the Lord designed our body to operate in rhythms that like even in like once a week, not having food helps our like body reset. And there's so many spiritual lessons you learn as you give up food, and just the way that Jesus tells us about like he's the bread of life, he's our living water, like giving us opportunity to understand in a deeper way like how we can depend on him. So I was invited into this group that started to fast together like once a month. It was very like rewarding, I think, just doing it with other people and the community aspect of things. But I started to see also how it was like a discipline that really went to war with my flesh. And like I started to see these benefits in my life and see the lessons that on those days the Lord would be speaking to me about. Like on the days when I'm fasting, I do feel like I'm hearing from the Lord more clearly. I feel like I'm convicted of specific sin. I'm like drawn to repentance. I'm recognizing my weakness, depending more on the Lord. So I feel like it's actually now like a vital aspect of my walk with Jesus. I was like, wow, like it's true what Jesus says, you know, like there are some of these things that only come out by prayer and fasting, because when I'm not like that, I just can see myself now going back to being more selfish, going back to even depending on food to like cheer me up, or like, you know, I think a lot of people struggle with like emotional eating, or like that's what we use to cope with things sometimes. So it's like all these things that maybe I wasn't aware of in my flesh that God has brought up that I can see now. When I'm not doing that, I will go back to having bad habits of thinking about food. So things that I see as idolatry, like in North America, comfort, like even food being one, I just feel like what fasting addresses helps me to like not be as tied down by those things, so that I can also like minister to others from a place of greater freedom from them. But it's like a constant thing. It's not like I'm there and I've arrived. Like I feel like I'm still learning so much, but I see how it's doing that in me and how needed it is, you know? And so like, if you are wondering about fasting and what it's like, I would just encourage you not to let even fear of what it will be like to hold you back, because there's other ways you can fast apart from food. So I would just encourage you like to consider incorporating this in some way into your life and into your walk with the Lord and your rhythms with him, because there's so much richness and so much goodness that can come out of it that honestly, I don't want you to miss out, because I think he wants to meet us, right? Like he wants to speak. He wants to help us in the areas of struggle. And I think fasting is a way where we can demonstrate our desire for that, our desire to let go of the things of this world and pursue him with all that we are. And I recognize in myself how much easier it is to live comfortably and in this like safe, especially in North America, right? Like we have a lot of access to various comforts that we can stay safe, but like God is not safe, like, and he's not comfortable. Like he wants us getting outside of that. And that's where it's exciting. That's where it's an adventure. And so, yeah, fasting, it's been like one of the most refining, I think, spiritual disciplines for me, but also one of the most rewarding.